Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we are here today to discuss Berserk Volume 12 out of Deluxe Edition 5, or just Volume 12. Here with Dan and Varsha. Dan, will you start us with introductions, please?
Oh. Is it volume 12? I thought we were in volume 13, but
Oh,
maybe I'm mistaken.
I might have the wrong title on the thing, so I will fix that.
Well, double check first, I
I'm
guess,
pretty
Oh,
but I
sure.
thought we were
it
in
is
volume 13. Yeah.
it is 13. Let me fix that. Continue, and I'll do it.
Unlucky numbers. Yeah, I'm Dan. I've read Berserk before, so I'm here to guide these people through the darkness that is Berserk.
Yeah, consider that. And Varsha?
And it's a pretty dark one. Hi, I'm Varsha. I have a tiny YouTube channel called Reading by the Rainy Mountain, on which we have a lot of reading plans coming up. Yeah, it's my first time to Berserk. And I guess this volume gave me a sense of the darkness. When someone said, "Oh, you think this is dark? Wait until you see what comes."
Yeah, I've had people tell me that, like, oh, it's you haven't seen anything yet. It's gonna get way darker, and I thought, is it though? I was like, yeah, it does. I mean, it's not. It wasn't like over the top or anything, but it was like, all right, stepped up a notch in this one for sure. So, Varsha, what were your thoughts
Oh,
being a
no.
first time reader?
I thought this went by pretty quickly. Like you promised, Steve, this volume was a very quick read. And um, I made a joke last time about how we see this ending. And I joked that Griffith would, defeat the god's hand from the inside or something like that. I just basically lost all hope that anything like that will ever happen in this volume. I think Chibi Po said something on the forum about how Griffith has, in some volume, become the greatest, no, most hated manga character of all time. I thought nothing happened in volume 12 to warrant that. This
Yeah.
volume did. So, yeah, I think, yeah, it did surprise me quite a bit, though I did not see the darkness coming, specifically the scenes with Griffith and Casca. Those, yeah, really were upsetting. But
Yeah, yeah,
To put it
yeah.
mildly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, I just said to put it mildly upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a
disturbing.
change. Yeah, it was a big change from the Griffin's friendship with Casca, and then the way it switched, and it's a big change. Well,
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things which I'm unsure about because I'm like, it feels out of character to me. I think, um, even knowing what happens after and what happens before, like I don't have trouble, believing that he would sacrifice people to achieve his goal and stuff like that, and feed them all to the monsters. It's just that our part seems a bit. I don't know. To me, it seems out of character. But I can also sort of understand maybe he's like his body and mind is completely being transformed by this event happening, and it's like in I think they describe like the festival is sort of like an orgy of whatever everything, right, of excess. So maybe it's something to do with that, or maybe he is just like that. I don't know. It just seemed to me out of character. But
yeah, I wondered that too, and I thought, I guess the justification for that change was the year that he was tortured and
mm-hmm.
maimed and kind of on the edge of death for like a year, and then he's offered the chance to ascend and becomes better than he was before. But it did seem a little bit like, and I think Volume 12 was trying to set that up too, of kind
Yeah.
of the struggle that he's gone through in his past and where he was mentally. But it does seem, maybe like you said, he gets caught up in the uh, in the chaos, and kind of his lust for power just takes over.
Yeah. Or maybe he just
Yeah.
wants to save it's like, oh, now I'm above any sort of moral reasoning. I can do what I want. I'm pretty much like a god, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm not constrained by what other people might think is moral or not, right? I don't know.
What did you think Russia was that
Yeah,
character?
interesting. Sorry. Yeah, I sort of thought, um, yeah, it did feel out of character-ish to me as well, because we had no hint or anything. It felt like if Griffith had even slightly desired Casca, like she could have been his for like no trouble. Like she admired him enough, and even from volume 12 when he forced himself on her, like I don't know how far he got, but she did not say anything to Guts. She was upset, but she sort of protected or defended him, right? So it felt like she wasn't this unreachable target for him or anything, for him to immediately take advantage of his power to then go rape her like that. So yeah, it just didn't fit with their relationship. I'm not sure about character, but it didn't fit with the relationship we had seen until then. But that said, maybe the reason he did not express interest is, like Dan said, that he's worried about how he'll be seen. But yeah, I didn't get that sense, but that is a possible interpretation, I suppose.
Mhm.
I guess sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just gonna say that I guess faced with the like kind of a following up with what you said is he's has a chance to kind of do whatever he wants. Like there's really no consequences for him. Like he feels like he's on another level. Like there's no
Hmm.
it's he's given free reign, and then those instincts just take over. I guess could be part of it.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is like he's not. I don't think he's doing it really because of anything towards Casca. It's more like he wants to make Guts suffer for some reason, actually, because I don't actually understand that either, to be honest. It's like, I guess, sort of, but I guess if he thinks Guts is the one that made him get tortured for the whole year, but at that point, if you're transformed, like, you're getting what you want. So why do you want Guts to suffer? Is my question. Maybe I'm missing some reasoning there. But he's obviously doing it, to hurt Guts because he's just making watch everything. Yeah. But then I'm like, why does he hate Guts that much at this point? I can understand before the transformation why. I don't understand after why.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of you have any thoughts on
What do you
that.
think? What do you think, Brasha? If you can hear us.
What was the question about?
Oh, why Griffin has this hatred for Guts, and why he would go that far to hurt him.
Oh, I see. Maybe I think they showed that a little bit in that flashback scene, or sorry,
Mhm.
flash forward scene that we saw, right, where he is seemingly happy, but he hates the thought that Guts is out there achieving what he could have or wanted to. So I guess that's probably that would be my best guess on what, because Guts is whom Griffith should have been right now.
Hmm.
The Hawk wants to follow him. Casca adores him now, and he is like this fearless leader who could take over for him. So he's being replaced by Guts. So I guess that could be potential reason for hatred.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Is he's the whole time when after he was rescued and the way he stares through his helmet, you just like staring at
Mm,
Guts and Casca and everyone's relationship, kind of like envy or jealousy of what he's lost and what Guts, the way Guts
mm,
is seen now that he used to even, I guess, be on Guts's level or even maybe above. So now that he's just like a shell, like a corpse, he has he felt jealousy that Guts has that kind of respect, and he
Mhm.
lost it. But Chibipo actually said something on the forum that I didn't notice, and I should have during the assault scene that Griffin always stares at Guts. It wasn't he didn't ever look at Casca. He's always I think was it Dan? Was it you Dan or was it Chibipo? I think.
No, I think he would. He
Oh,
said that. But yeah.
Yeah. So that was very telling. I didn't really notice it at first, but once he said it, it's like, oh, okay. That kind of it makes sense that it was about Guts. To Drew's comment, I thought it was more about Guts than anything.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it makes sense in a narrative standpoint because of what happens after. Like, if you know that Guts is going to escape, it makes sense. You want to make him seek vengeance more than just everyone died or whatever. You want to make him an antagonist and everything. But if you're from Griffith's standpoint, Guts is going to die in like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like you don't think he's going to escape, right? You don't think either of them is going to escape. Yeah, I don't know. Not exactly sure why, but
yeah, if you wanted to take that to Guts, that's an act of intense hatred. If all you wanted to do was get back at Guts, yeah, I don't know. Maybe because maybe hatred for Guts because Guts is leaving is what did that to Griffith.
Maybe.
The year of torture.
Maybe because he didn't want to have to sacrifice the Band of a Hawk. Maybe that's why. And now he was being forced to achieve his dream, but before he could have achieved it without, and Guts sort of forced him down this path. Because otherwise, if he thinks this is this is even better, right now it's even better for him to achieve his dream, right? He's almost all powerful or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he should be, and I'm not saying grateful, but he should be like, okay, now I can achieve my dream. Why am I salty? Like, why is he salty about Guts? I don't know. Especially if it's like that the deleted chapter. I don't know if you guys read it. Right? It's such a stark difference between that and then you jump to the rape part, right? And then he's just like discussing like philosophical stuff with the. Actually, I don't know, Varsha, did you read it? I don't want to spoil.
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah, because before he's discussing like philosophical stuff with the source of all evil or God or whatever, and then so I think it also makes sense from that point of cutting that part. It's a bit of a jarring interlude in between everything else of the eclipse. I don't know. Yeah, because then if you think that, because it said the heart said everything had been preordained, then why do you should be like, okay, that's just what was supposed to happen. Why would he be angry specifically at someone if God orchestrated everything?
Right. Yeah. And God is the one he should be angry at, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Some misplaced anger right there.
Yeah, but I guess technically it's not canon, so maybe we shouldn't take it into consideration. Bit hard to decide.
Yeah.
Is it?
It did seem like a whole different, like it did seem very detached from everything else that we've read. It seemed, I can understand why they deleted or they removed it, that chapter.
Yeah. But in any case, I think like the whole rape scene and everything else, it's sort of necessary for the rest of Berserk, because otherwise a lot of parts wouldn't make any sense. So if you can just say, okay, this is what happened, I can, I believe that, whatever, you justify it, then, everything else makes a lot more sense. Because otherwise, even the part, I don't know, I guess Casca could have escaped anyways and still be traumatized, I guess. It would have been a bit less believable. There's other stuff too that, I'm not going to spoil, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I spotted the name of the first chapter of the next volume. I have a guess about where that might be going.
Oh, I see. I wonder what it is. But yeah, because I think that we're still technically in the Golden Age arc, I think we still technically have like 4 chapters or 5 chapters. Like it goes midway until mid of the next volume, I think. And then the new one, which I don't remember the name of, arc starts. I remember what happens. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, but we're we're kind of at the end, pretty much. This is pretty much the golden age. So I guess you can sort of understand. It feels a bit sort of like a self-contained arc a bit. Like you could read it self-contained and that's your story, sort of. Right?
Yeah. It ends horribly for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a villain origin story, I guess.
Yeah. I just want to say hi to Rachel. Thanks for coming by, Rachel. Hope you're having a good weekend.
Hi, Jeff.
It was, I didn't think I'd really care too much about a lot of the characters from the Hawk, like the Band of the Hawk. They were kind of just there. Some of them are even annoying, but it was kind of sad seeing them all die. It did go on maybe a little bit too long, but I get that we were building up to this. We wanted something we didn't want it to be over in a flash. You needed it to really, have an impact, but some of it was maybe could have been shortened a little bit, but it was sad seeing them all die. Like they all had their moment it seemed like they each had their couple panels at least of just kind of heroics, but it was a little sad. Even the ones I didn't like, it was sad seeing them die.
Yeah. And I can imagine being like a person reading it for the first time when it was coming out once a week or something. I mean, you would have spent a lot more time with these characters, right? Like, I don't know how long it would have been, but maybe like a year or something from the start. I'm not sure. I would have to calculate, but so it would probably be a lot more impactful, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Than just speed reading it. Well, we're not speed reading it, but we're still reading it faster than original.
Chapter a week.
Yeah,
it's almost 2
reading
years on a week, right?
I think so.
A year and a half, I guess. Yeah.
So.
And did seeing the juxtaposition of Casca and Guts, because Guts was going through his own history when they first met, and he didn't like to be touched, and he was going through all those emotions of reliving past events that happened to him, and now it's reversed where Casca doesn't even remember who he is. So it was seen that they switched positions and how they each process their grief.
Yeah. No, yeah. I wonder if Guts maybe is going to be able to heal her, just like she was able with him. But we'll see how that goes.
I would hope so.
Yeah, maybe what Casca went through is a bit more traumatizing, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to compare traumas, but it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's just say that. So I don't know, but yeah, we'll. And I think the only people left of the Band of the Hawk is just Casca, Guts, and Rickard, right? Only the 3 of them, I think. Yeah. So not much left, I guess.
Yeah. Still don't know what happened with the princess, no? Why Zod kidnapped her.
Oh, maybe I forgot about that. No, I think you're right. I think I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of, I think, several parts of like Zod talking to the skeleton guy, right? And then, I don't know. Like, who do you think the skeleton guy is? You don't know.
I thought it was the king who did the previous ritual in Midland, the pile of bodies. There was a king who conducted that ritual. I sort of assumed at the time they told the story that it was that king who's the skeleton dude. But I don't know what role that would play in the story. So those 2 stories were told. I think the comic had it it had it such that as soon as the story was told, we saw the skeleton guy pretty quickly. So I sort of made the connection, but I don't know. It's just a guess about who he might be.
Yeah, I think so. But he seems to have something against the brain guy, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Void.
But
Right?
yeah, sort of like, because he seemed to sort of like say to Guts, like, "Oh, I kind of understand you," you know. He seems to be sort of like, "Oh, I was in your same situation in the past. You need to hold on to your, you know, your guts, your bravery, whatever, your will to live, and your will to for vengeance, right? And that's the way you survive."
Mhm.
It seems like he was talking from his own experience, right? But then, if he's the one starting the sacrifice, he's like an apostle, right? So how does that work?
Kind of
Yeah,
wonder if that's Guts from another time, or
interesting. Hmm.
Maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe he was also a sacrifice or something. Yeah, it's like a different timeline. I don't know. But he seems pretty strong, and he seems to be
Mhm.
against the other guys. But we don't know anything about why or how or anything
Mhm.
at all, to be honest.
And and I think I know it's not canon, but just based on what we have from chapter 83 about how there is a sea of all the evil that humans think, and therefore correspondingly there's a god and his apostles and so on. There is no equivalent light, or I wonder if there is, and the skeleton guy or some other people are fighting on their behalf. And so I was curious why they were trying to save Guts and Casca.
Hmm.
It seemed not. It seemed more out of wanting to do the opposite of what Zod wants than because he wanted to save them. But um, we also saw that Griffith was a chosen one. I'd like to chat about that a little bit in eventually. But is God somebody else's chosen, if not necessarily the opposite feature?
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point, right? Is that the only god coming from all the negative emotion, or is there one from positives, or there's not enough positive emotions for there to them to create a god? That's a pretty depressing world, I think. If the only god that exists is an evil god,
Yeah.
because we haven't seen anything from like the other. I guess fairies. Fairies could be something like right from positive sources of energy somewhere.
Hmm.
Uh, doesn't seem as powerful as the demons, I guess.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. As the demons, not the God's hand, right? They are still very powerful.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't seen any angels or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know. Um, so yeah, seems pretty depressing if that's the truth.
Yeah. For sure.
But
I
yeah,
did.
and you said like it seems that Griffith was preordained to be right, or maybe like the evil god was creating a figure to be the fifth god hand
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. Um, yeah, because what's the purpose of the god hands then? God hands. Like once you elevate them to that point, he seems to tell him, "Oh, now you can do whatever you want."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even become good if you want. You don't have to represent evil. At least that's what I got.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. um, yeah. He said something to that they manipulated all of history to make this time come about. It wasn't just when you were born, we manipulated a lot of things. Like we manipulated history to have someone like you be born, and then we brought about circumstances to make you the fifth person. Um, So, did the other four members of the God Hand, were they also similarly chosen, or is there something special about just the fifth person? Um, yeah,
I don't know. And maybe now that they have five, maybe that's important because the hand has 5 fingers, as we all know. So
yeah.
maybe they were just waiting for the last one to do something.
Mm. Interesting.
Long prophecy. Or maybe it's going to be six-fingered hand. I don't know.
The skeleton dude wants to become one of them. I really like the idea of Griffith from another time. I don't think it's very likely, but I like the idea. I wish it were true.
I wonder who else it could be though. If it's someone who seems to be helpful, seems to trying to be setting him on the right path. So who that we've seen would fill that role for Guts?
Maybe just someone that regretted his pact or something, and now he wants to make amends. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he's the king, right, from that story, then we know a lot of people were sacrificed for him. We know for sure because we saw a mark on the pile of bodies. So he became very powerful, as we can see, because he has a non-generic form, I guess. So maybe he just regretted it. But I assume that, well, and I guess like the God Hand doesn't have like automatic power over the other demons. They're just stronger, right? And yeah, they don't have like an actual. It's just a strength hierarchy, just like with Zod and the other guy. He's like, oh, I don't like what you're doing, so I'll just kill you.
The other reason I thought it was the king is because I think the front of his thing looks something like a crown, I thought.
It does.
Yeah.
It does look like a crown.
Yeah. But it says it's nice that there's someone helping Guts, and it's just not everyone against him,
It's true.
Someone's got to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you finally saw how he loses his arm. Finally.
He chopped it off himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
I didn't see where he lost his eye, though. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, but that just seemed to be one of his injuries at the end when he was being healed.
Yeah. So, but he still needs to get his cannon and everything else, right? He still doesn't have it. Or the big sword. He still doesn't have the big sword. Well, it's going to be soon. I don't think that's a spoiler, but...
Yeah. The sword that the skeleton dude gave him, does he have a name? I forget. But it has some special properties that cut through the ghosts or something, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
And he gave it to Guts for use. He didn't take it back so far.
Yeah.
I wonder if the iron sword has similar properties later. We don't know. We don't see anything. Or was he time they were fully materialized demons?
I don't think we know up to now that it has any special properties. But yeah. But you do seem to be able to kill, like, spirits and demons with normal swords too, I guess. Maybe there's less effective, though. I would assume. Or they just break, as it happened previously. But yeah. And I guess we also got, like, an explanation of why he's attracting all the demons and everything, right?
Yeah.
So they have swarmed together in their desire for your warm flesh and blood. It is drawn to those of darkness. So he's basically hunted forever. Basically, is like he'll always be running from them.
Yeah, and I guess that's gonna affect Casca too, because she's also branded.
Yeah. That's where we ended the volume, right? With the demons attacking Casca.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's some, like, maybe last time we discussed or something, Steve, you said that Casca was also gonna die, or maybe Varsha, because we didn't see her in the prologue, did we?
No, we didn't. It wouldn't have been me because I had seen a spoiler for her later.
Oh, you had. Okay, I see. I think it was Steven. I think Steve said everyone was gonna die.
I'm always on that. I'm always like, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, you were right for the second apocalypse. So,
Something
you were almost
as...
right here.
Almost.
Yeah, she's the only one who survived, so it's almost true. And it would have been true, I guess, but I think from moving the story forward, I wonder if Casca had died, if Griffith would still have gone for vengeance. Sorry, not Griffith, Guts. If he would still have try to get vengeance, or if that was the thing that would make him finally give up. I'm gonna guess no, he wouldn't give up. He's just not that kind of character, no?
Yeah. But for us readers, it makes it a lot more, we want him to, even more to beat him, right? It's, it makes sense. It makes sense in that sense. Yeah, I don't think he would have given up.
Yeah.
No.
I think sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, no, I was trying to find there was a section that the horseman discusses. I forget the name of it. I'll find it. There's something that he mentions, but go ahead. I'll find the page.
Okay. I wanted to bring up the conversation between Judo and Casca. There were two things that were interesting. One, what he said about what he said that he thought would be like Guts to, force her to want to survive instead of just trying to fight. I thought that really described Guts' energy really well. So that was really nice. And then I had a question for you both about I'm secretly in love with Casca, I wish I told her thing that seemed to come out of nowhere. And again, was one of those things that I sort of felt were out of place-ish. I wanted to see what you both thought about it.
Trying to see. Did I overlook it?
There was
where does he say that?
There was towards the end, just as he's about to die, I think there was something to the effect of, it's Judo's thoughts, and he's thinking something to the effect of, I wish I had said something sooner, or before, I wish I had the courage to say, or something like that. Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, it seemed like there was some kind of romantic interest there. That's the way I took it. That
yes,
that there was like a budding romance, but it's like there was no indication of that before. It seemed a little strange. There's like no, but I guess it was more of a thing to pull your heartstrings maybe at the end.
Yeah,
but has been hiding that the whole time. But it seemed a little. I kind of thought, okay.
I wonder if it's a difference in translations, because that's not what I got from that part. I'm looking at it right now again. It seemed to me like he was glad that she finally, accepted her emotions, and she wasn't just trying to always be strong for everyone, but she also got attached to Guts and everything else. That's how I understood it. But again, maybe that's difference in translations, because it is a bit cryptic.
It's not explicit. I sort of assumed secretly in love, wish I had said something, but maybe it was something else.
Yeah, it says, that did what I meant it to, but I can't say what I've been meaning to. To you, I have to say something, but these are my last words. I'm glad to see you cry. I guess because she's crying because of you, so that you could intend it that, she... And then he says, and you only thought of me as someone useful? I guess I can understand that. Yeah, you could, I can see more your standpoint of reading it that way.
My translation said, you cry too much for my last words to you, or something to that effect.
Okay, it's very different.
I'm downloading it on my Kindle here. I'll see how. I'll look it up again to see what it says. But that's what I thought he said. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here on my copy too.
Yeah, I'm just basing it. These are just some chapters I downloaded like more than 10 years ago, and they're all from different translators, so it could be just wrong.
Interesting.
I'm not. I'm sure an actual translator from an official version is probably more correct. Maybe, because this is, what is it? I don't know. It's volume 13, chapter 2. I don't know what the absolute chapter is. It's like chapter 90 something. Is that what it is?
Must be 80 something because the last chapter was 83.
Oh, yeah.
And
So this must be 81? Yes, it's 81.
81.
Yeah, let's see what this translation says. Says anything different? Oh, yeah. This translation says, you sure do cry a lot, you know?
yes.
Yeah, like you said. Oh, and it says, I always tried to be a smooth talker, but in the end, I missed my chance to say it, to tell you that important thing. But now these must be my last words. Although personally, I always thought I was a bit smoother than that. So maybe, I guess, yeah, you're right. I just got a janky translation. It happens.
Yeah, I think that's what mine says too. But I kind of took it as there's some interest there that just didn't. But
yeah, I don't think it makes much sense, though.
No.
Yeah. Maybe it felt out of place because we didn't spend a lot of time or any time in Judo's perspective until now. It's like you said, Steve. It's probably just in there to make us feel bad for the Band of the Hawk because, I don't know. I sort of agree with your sentiment that I felt sad that they were all gone, but not that any particular one of them was gone.
Yeah, but they could have just put like a one-page sort of flashback of showing him as like meeting this girl or something after he became a knight, and that could have been it, and that would have been more impactful, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that would have worked a lot better.
I don't know.
Oh well.
I'm not a writer. What do I know?
Yeah. Seeing Pippin go, that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah, I even felt a bit bad for Crocus. He was annoying, but he didn't deserve to go that way.
No.
Yeah. What can you do? But I guess, now we got our character, we got our setup, I guess. Well, and I guess where do you think it goes from now at this point? Because we sort of got our main setup, I guess, right? Like, what do you think his Guts' next objective is?
Well, we've skipped ahead quite because the first volume or so is in the future. So what happens in between? I really don't know. I don't know what he's doing because we know Griffin's still around and Guts is still around. So maybe it'll be Guts getting his cannon and killing things and looking for revenge, wandering around, getting into adventures. It's I don't know. I kind of wonder like where do we go from here?
Yeah. Just randomly killing demons and hoping that somehow he'll be able to find Griffith again. It's not much of a plan, but again, he's not much of a thinker, to be honest. So I don't expect a super convoluted plan or genius idea to be honest from him. It's not his way of doing things.
Swing my sword and kill things is what his plan is probably going to be.
Yeah. What do you think, Varsha?
Yeah, I think I'm wondering, it might depend on what ends up happening to Casca in the next half volume. If she has lost her memory and she needs help healing. And do I remember this explicitly or no? Steve, you said it. I thought it was from the manga, but that she helped him heal. Hopefully he can help her heal. So hopefully we'll see some sort of more than vengeance. I think helping her will take priority, but the vengeance might be more of a side quest is my guess, but we'll see. But also I'm trying to remember in the first few volumes, was he looking for the God's hand or did he just get interested when someone said something about apostles of the God hand? I don't know which it was, but we did get the sense that he was going from town to town looking for something. So
I think he was looking for the Beherit, right? Because then he when he found, he was like, yeah, I know I can use this to get to the God hand, right?
Yeah.
So
Maybe
that's
he's
his
looking
plan.
for bracelets. Yeah. That would make a boring story though, if all he's doing is looking for a bracelet or doing something. I feel like there must be some other sort of purpose
Hmm.
for us to follow. Failing at guessing what it might be.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's probably going to be vengeance, I guess. Yeah.
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 And what is Griffith going to do now? Does he
Yeah.
have what he wants? Is this what he wants? Is done now? It just chills?
No. That is that is for me the more interesting question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he would do. Just do evil? That doesn't seem.
Yeah. What do they do? I mean, what do the God Hands
Yeah.
do? Wait a few thousand years for the next one, or if there is a next one, or the next event.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. What would you do if you had almost unlimited power? Would you just use it the way? What was his name? The guy at the head of a mercenary band. Would you? What would you do? Right? Would you use it to change things for the better? It doesn't seem like any of these guys trying to change things for the better. Seems like they're trying to change things for the worse. So
They don't seem very interested in anything else and like making things better.
Is it just have fun for the next million years because you live forever? Is that the objective? But I don't think Griffith. It doesn't seem like what he would do, does it?
No, he's too motivated for that. He'd have to have something to do to keep him busy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see, I guess.
It seems like someone else is directing the destiny and free will reverse. So, where like it doesn't even seem like the gods hand manipulate much, but then so they either have free will and they're able to manipulate things, or someone else is directing everything to the point of history. I know that's not canon, but like if the gods hand, if we assume that the gods hand are the directors of the destinies or fate of the world, then maybe that's what they do. But if they're not, then their job is boring too, no? What do they do?
Maybe we'll see the opposition, like who are they? Because there has to be a yin and a yang. I'm assuming there has to be some kind of force that keeps them in kind of in check. Otherwise, or maybe not.
Or maybe they're building towards something, right? Maybe they have a plan and they're like, oh, we want to do this. So the first step is getting the fifth member or something, or accumulating 5 members, and then we do this, and then we do that. Or maybe maybe our objective is just let's keep things as they are, so that they don't go crazy or whatever, or the world doesn't, I don't know, get destroyed or something. Or maybe they keep the evil thing in check. They're like, oh, just stay in there in hell, and let us deal with the world or whatever. I don't know.
I wonder, Zod and the skeleton dude, they have some ongoing battle that they have to win. I wonder what they have to do with all of that, and how Guts' future quests will play a role in their own private battle, or vice versa. And what they have to do with the God's hand.
Yeah.
Like there are some people who are acting outside the will of the God hand, it seems like. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. I guess Zod is just sort of being very like a bodyguard to the God hand, it seems like. He's just doing whatever they say or helping them out, I guess. I'm trying to remember when we first saw him, why was he there? I'm trying to remember.
I think he was just some beast terrorizing a village, and the man of the hawk was sent to help them out or something. He was in some palace or fort.
Oh yeah, he shows up.
Yeah, that's where Guts fights him for the first time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. For some reason, I thought he was at like when they had the big battle in that castle. But no, it was.
Yeah, that was the second time we saw him, I think.
It was before then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
That's when he left his sword for Guts to use.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They saw him before then too. Yeah.
The
I don't
first
know
time
what
he
was
runs
doing
away
there.
when he sees Griffith's speculate.
Yes. Oh, so he was just having fun wherever.
Yeah. He enjoyed that Guts was the first person who was willing to fight him in a long, long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now that we know how Guts lost his arm, was it, I don't want to say satisfying, but what did you think, Varsha, about that whole setup? Was it, because we've been speculating for the entire time, how does he lose his arm? And so what was your reaction to that?
I think it made sense in two ways. I was trying to figure out, but couldn't quite. Did he get distracted by seeing Casca and so had his hand eaten and so had to free himself? Or the other thing, if he wasn't distracted, he would have run out eventually, maybe, I don't know. But then, because he was trying desperately to rescue Casca, he chopped his hand off. I think both of those reasons fit. It made sense that it was by a demon that he lost his hand, because he's too good of a swordsman to lose it any other way. And two, it was sort of a moment of distraction slash desperation. So yeah, all of that made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Steve?
I'm glad it was in this type of event. It wasn't like a random person who did it. So in that sense, I'm happy the way it, not happy, but it made sense.
Yeah.
But during all that chaos, like, it just happened that way, and he decided to remove it to try and save Casca. So
yeah.
Very typical of Guts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess the practical
Yeah.
aspect of it. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, I just wanted to go to sort of a different topic, but if you still have something to say about this.
Oh, I was just saying that it's also practical of Guts. It fits with his character as well, that he do whatever he needs to get out of a situation. In this case, it was, I'll just cut my hand off without giving it a second thought.
Yeah, it made me think of that guy in Australia that got stuck in the rocks and he had to cut his own arm off. And I was like, I would never be able to do it. That's the difference between me and Guts and me and that guy. I don't have the drive to do it. I would just die there. Yeah, I would have been one of a nameless guy dying in bed clips in the background, I feel.
I'd probably be right there with you.
Yeah, me too.
Assuming I'm ever courageous enough to climb. But
yeah.
What was the topic you were going to start, Dan?
No, I was just going to say that I personally just enjoy just reading the Golden Arc. Sometimes I just read it, and that's what I read. I don't go any further. That's sort of completely story. And that's what, like, some of the anime and movies are like. They sort of stop at that part. But yeah, I don't know. The next part, we'll see what you think of the next parts, but they're gonna be different. I think they feel different. Like, this is pretty homogeneous in like how it starts and then like the style and everything, just how like the previous part is, and the next part sort of has a bit of a different style. But I'm curious to see what you think about it. And I don't know, because some people feel like, oh, the Golden Age arc is the best part. Some people feel like the next part is the best part, right? Everyone has sort of their favorite. I don't think anyone thinks like there's some parts which nobody thinks are the best parts, but I don't think they're these ones. for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. After this journey we've taken, this seems like we're coming to the end of it, and like, where do we go next? Kind of, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I don't know. I do like, again, I just in general do like villain origin stories. They're pretty. They're fun because they end up at the end point is like, oh, now we have a villain, the bad guy. They don't end up in a positive note, or they end up with a bit of a cliffhanger or whatever. I do enjoy that. It's a bit of a different perspective, I guess. But this is an origin story of both the villain and the hero, though. So as it happens a lot of the time, the villain origin story is the origin story of the hero.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
They're very intertwined.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Is there anything else you guys can think of?
Not for me.
It's quite the volume.
Yeah,
it's quite a volume. Yeah, it's a lot of. It's not like how to say. It's not very subtle volume.
No.
That's why maybe there's less to discuss. It's very in your face.
Yeah, it's the first one after which I'll probably go read at least the first few chapters. I usually read just before the discussion, like the day before or a few hours before, but today I'm gonna actually go do a few chapters and until we get back to the Black Swordsman probably. I want to know how this ends and what to expect. I'm supremely interested in what Griffith does from now on more than Guts, but I'd also like to see what happens to Casca. I care about that a lot for some reason.
Yeah, now that we know she survives.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know. I feel like most people are more likely to emphasize with Casca than with Guts. It's like, I don't know if I would emphasize with Guts at this point. He's a bit too driven. How do I say? Yeah, I don't think. It's a bit. He's a bit too. I don't know, superhuman or whatever for me at this point to sort of identify myself in that. Casca was a lot more normal, let's say, person.
Yeah, more relatable.
Yeah, a lot more relatable. Yeah. So hopefully, she can.
And we saw her really change or grow even emotionally. I think Guts too, to a great extent, but maybe not so much as Casca. So, yeah. I don't know. I think at this point, more Casca than Guts for me. But I also tend to, I guess, latch myself onto the female characters of the story more than the male. So that makes sense for me. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Guts is a bit. I don't know. He's very focused on the drive and getting stronger or vengeance or whatever. I would be more like, vengeance is nice, but I can't. Seems a lot of work. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work to possibly not even be happy at the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of sword swinging.
It does. Yeah. When we met the Black Swordsman arc, it was sort of what is this man fighting for? And also he seems like he wants to die. He's picking fights with big bad monsters who he seems to have no chance of defeating. So yeah, I think what is he fighting for? That's something to, I guess, I really like resilient characters. So I don't know if Guts is that for anyone when you're like really can't carry on anymore. That's why I really liked what Judo said about him. When you feel like you can't carry on anymore, he still does. Like, so it's not just survival. He wants to fight and move on and like be alive. It's not just survive. So I think from that sense, I think he's a really excellent character to follow.
Well, it'd be interesting to see where we go from here, for sure. See what's next. But in the meantime, Dan, where can people find you if they want to chat?
You can find me on the page shooting forums for bad takes on artificial intelligence and other things. But yeah, that's the best place.
And Varsha?
My channel, I did a Joe there for a minute. My channel is Reading by the Rainy Mountain. And the About page has more direct ways to contact me. I also hang out on the Patreon forum quite a lot.
Lots of stuff coming up for your channel. Lots of stuff we have planned. So
Nice.
it's going to be very busy. Very busy for quite a while.
Yeah.
But
We've
all
got
good
like 3
stuff.
years worth of plans made.
Lots of plans. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up. It's going to be fun, though. Cool. Well,
Cool.
hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you next week for volume 14. We'll see everyone then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.